So, welcome to the 44th episode of Tuesdays with Silwal and Satyal.
Well, okay. Hello listeners, you're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal.
And I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast from the Himalayas.
When it's a Tuesday and it's 7:30, you know it's time for perspectives, conversations, and stories.
The 44th episode, welcome.
Woohoo!
I've already made a mistake in the intro, so just toning myself down. So we're having this polity talk right now, and this idea germinated that we have a tendency of saving a lot of quotes on our phones.
Screenshotting
them. Instagram has this new way of saving the posts that you like, and not necessarily the quotes, but some hot girls that Satyal has, apparently, a lot of them.
Or the one Silwal has been stalking.
Just one.
Just.
But
yeah, so Silwal had this amazing idea where he said, we save a lot of photos on our phone, so why don't we quote unquote some quotes and just talk about it. So here we go.
The first episode of the series, quote unquote, because we'd want to do this time and again in the future, right?
All right.
So, Satyal, I want you to go first.
All right. Do you want me to go with a heavy quote or a lighter quote?
Just throw one at me.
Okay, this is the first one. So, all right, I'm going to throw you a heavy one. Quote, come with me. Let's struggle together. Because for me, that's what love is. It's who you choose to struggle with. Unquote. And this is my quote.
Wait.
This is my
Did you just quote yourself?
Yeah, I had to. So this is something that I wrote, I don't know, 1 year back probably. So just wanted to kickstart with my own quote. So yeah, what do you think of this?
Before I tell you about what I think of this, I think this is what you think love is.
Mm-hmm.
It's about struggling together.
This is what I thought love was back then.
Okay, so right now
should I tell you how I'm thinking right now?
Yes,
so
please.
At this moment of time, when I wrote this back then, I thought, all right, so life is full of struggles. You just have 80 views on the podcast, so it's definitely struggles, right? So you would want someone who would be with you and say, all right, that's okay, 80 views is not going to do you anything, right? It's fine. You can carry on. But on a serious note, you would want someone to just be a part of your struggle in the long run in life. But then I realized that you can't always be with the person that you love.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to let that person go. Or sometimes that person lets you go even if you don't want to go, right?
There is a backstory to this,
So when I said it's who you choose to struggle with, then maybe sometimes you cannot be with that person. So maybe that with changes into a for. So maybe you choose to stay single your whole life because you couldn't be with the love of your life. So you're probably struggling for that person.
Wow.
But yeah, it changed over time.
I think if I had seen this on a random Instagram post, I would have saved it. So this is
okay.
This
Thank
is a
you.
credit to you.
That's a big compliment. Thank you.
I
very
think
much.
I love this in the sense that I believe it's two people coming together and working toward that future together, and it's a lot of struggles, and not necessarily struggles, but anything that life throws at you, you can work toward, handling the shit that life throws at you. For me, if you talk about love, I don't think it is about complementing each other's skills, but rather it is supplementing it. So the skills of the other person or the value of that other person is not to make life easier, but it will just add on or supplement your life and make it a better
your life a little less troublesome.
Yes.
And that's a different
because
thing.
at the end of the day, if you're talking about love, the foundations or the base has to be a very good one, with friendship, nurturing, or gardening, or whatever shit that you want to pull through.
Okay.
And that's a very beautiful quote.
Right.
To complement your quote,
I just want to quickly jump in and say to all the listeners who are listening to us, of course you cannot see the quotes, so what we're planning to do is we'll put it in our program notes so that you can just follow through on them, and if you like them, you just
good thinking,
use them,
Satyal,
right?
good
All right, so I'll take it over.
I think to complement your quote, quote, if it comes, let it. If it goes, let it. Unquote. What do you think of this?
So just looking at this quote, I feel like the person, whoever is saying this or whoever believes this, is easygoing, goes with the flow, so believes that whatever comes in for a reason. And whatever chooses not to stay with that person goes away for a reason. So as one thing goes away, there's probably something better lined up. So this person will probably not look back on his life a lot and regret anything. Would probably always look forward and just be happy with whatever that person has at that moment.
Unfortunately, I did not write the quote. I saved it from Instagram.
We don't really know the author, right?
Yeah, but
we'll try to quote unquote the author as well. But there are times when it's a random quote. We don't have the name of the author, so it's anonymous.
Yeah. When I came across this a few years ago, I took things personally, and if you look at the 42nd episode, we've learned how to not take things personally. I used to take things personally when things were not going my way, or if things were happening in my life and are not going according to the plan that I had. I would get furious, I would get angry, and I would lash out to a lot of things. But over the years, and I'm grateful to everything that has happened in my life, because that's led me to where I am right now, and I so love being where I am right now. And that's the beauty of it. If things happen, good or bad things, you're gonna let it happen. And if good or bad things, want to go out of your life, then that's it.
I think this quote reminds me of the analogy of a bus. So your life is like a bus. Some people have to leave it on time to make room for the other people to come in. So you never know. The best person in the bus might be coming in the bus in the third or fourth destination, right? So if other people don't drop off, and that person cannot come in.
And that's why I don't want to say this, but in terms of love, and continuing with your quote, the exes that your partner might have had, or you might have had, they had to go away for something better for the future. And you would not necessarily be like, why did you break up with that person? You're happy that they broke up with those people in the past. They're past because it's led you to the fourth destination.
That's beautifully put, man. I loved how it shaped up. All right, so let's move to the next quote. And you guys might be thinking that we're always talking about deep stuff, but let us contradict here, because we just wanted to keep a fine balance. So this quote is probably something that everyone can resonate. All right, quote. Have you ever stalked someone so hard you ended up on their brother's, roommates, cousins, sister's page? ? Unquote.
Satyal, how many times in a day does that happen to you?
This always happens. But this happens a little less right now because I don't really use Facebook. Yeah. But when I did use Facebook, this happened quite a lot of times. Why does this happen in the first place? Is it just how the web is designed for us to click all the time and end up places where we would have never imagined us to be?
I think there are two reasons that I tell you for. The first one is people like to share a lot on Facebook, and once you're stalking that person, or once you're looking for that person, you go into this spiral where you reach so many different places. Yeah, it's like when you're on YouTube, you start off with something really important like a TED Talk, but 3 hours later you're looking at Justin Bieber's interviews, or the time that he pissed on someone else, and you are in that dark part of the web. The same thing happens, I think, with a lot of us when we're looking for that person on... The person who should be making way to the bus. Everything's connecting for some reason. I know. So, another thing that I would say is, I don't know if it happens to you, but when you are stalking that person, do you start making stories about how their life is, or how their life has been, based on the pictures that you've seen and you've stalked them? I think that's again relating with not making assumptions and asking. But especially if you say you like a girl on Facebook, she has this very pretty profile picture, you click on that, and let's say there's 4,000 likes. And the first reaction I would have is, okay, you're out of my league. Or I'm out of your league. Just because there's 4,000 likes. Because I would have hardly 200, right? So you may be very popular and you're not the kind of person that I would ideally want to go out with. Or I'm that kind of person that you would not want to go out with. Yeah, we do that. But the funny thing is we end up on that page after stalking and ending up on the brothers, roommates, cousins, sisters page. So that's how the web is. When does it stop? I don't know. Probably when it's time to go to sleep. I don't know. So yeah, that was one hell of a quote, right? So This quote is very relevant to me in terms of how I look the podcast in that sense. So, quote, "The sunrise, of course, does not care if you watch it or not. It will keep on being beautiful, even if no one bothers to look at it," unquote. I think this is very self-explanatory in the sense that you have to keep on doing, that's what I think, you have to keep on doing what you feel like doing and what you like doing, regardless of if other people are noticing you or not. And as the sunrise, it does not want that glorified people coming together to, witness the beauty of the sunrise. The sunrise or the sun is going to rise and be as magnificent and as beautiful. It's the people who've taken it in themselves to wake up really early in the morning to go and see that beautiful nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially during winters, who would want to wake up to see the sunrise, but the sun still rises. I think I can relate this with you and I as educators. There are a lot of times when we have so much to give to our mentees, to our students, but not everyone takes it in that same fashion, is that enthusiastic, but it doesn't mean that we stop giving. There's just one time when during my mentorship session, I know Bhavna, you're listening to this right now, so Bhavna and I, Bhavna is a friend, hi. So we and Bidushri, our assistant, I don't know if she listens, but hi if you're still listening.
Listen to us.
The three of us, we were the mentoring team, and we had 2 mentees. So the number of mentors
were greater than the number of mentees.
Right?
Wow, Satyal.
But it does not... See? I'm not that great.
Mathematics. Simple mathematics.
So, but it did not mean that we gave any less to those 2 people who had showed up. So it's just about giving yourself and giving the best version of yourself, always doing your best, the 4th agreement, if you've listened to the 43rd Tuesday. So I think that resonates with us as educators. This is a really nice quote.
And the beauty of having different quotes is you have a different take on it, I have a different take on it. The listener right now who's probably interested in the quotes is looking at the program notes and looking at the version of their perspective, because it's different for everyone.
And I think would love to know what you think of that particular quote. That would be 3 different perspectives, and that would be wonderful. So moving on to the next quote. This one is slightly heavy, but one of my favorites. So I'll just read this loud. So I'll have to start this quote. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, and this is what he answered: man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, then dies having never really lived, unquote.
Wow. I have no idea how to interpret that because Dalai Lama, shout out to Dalai Lama if you're listening
to us right now.
What an amazing quote. What an amazing guy you are.
That definitely competes with my quote. But Silwal, yeah man, sacrificing health in order to make money, how true is that?
I think we do that every day. Just
I remember one of the latest episodes where you talked about not exercising.
I know, because who has time to exercise?
You need to go take a class, right? You need to that money.
And it's winter right now. You cannot wake up early in the morning unless it is a very important work. It's very difficult to wake up. I don't know how to interpret that, but
anything you'd like to change about yourself looking at this quote? Because I don't think there's any interpretation to this required, because I think everyone's going to interpret this in the same way. But maybe just trying to live more mindfully would be one. Like, I know you mentioned how glorified it is and it's really hard to live in the present, but we're constantly musing about the past or anxious about the future. That is so true. But what I would like to interpret through this quote is, this is a quote, again, another quote that I really believe in, is how you spend your day is how you spend your life. And if every day is like this, then you will not have lived.
Yeah. That's it. That's amazing. So
shout out to Dalai Lama, man. Well done.
Yeah.
Please comment.
You've done a good job, Dalai Lama, sir. I don't know how to pay tribute to him. My quote is very small, and this is very important to me and very close to me, and it goes, quote, "And I'm sad, full stop, again, unquote." When I say this, or when I looked at this quote, this resonated with me a lot, because many a time social media has been this highlight reel of our lives where it is very important for us to show our happy-go-lucky sides. When we talk with strangers, we have to show how happy we are, how amazing our life is, and how everything is perfect for us, even though if it isn't. And the burden of putting on a mask of being happy all the time takes a toll on a person. And for me, and I'm pretty sure with everyone that is living life right now, not everyone can be happy all the time, and that's life. And you become sad, and I'm sad again. Just resonates with me because there are times in a day, there's times in a month that I'm sad, and I cannot tell you the reasons why, but there's some days when I'm just sad.
It's perfectly put there. So I met one of my juniors in the college parking as I was heading to my class, and she came to me and she said, Dai, I feel sad all the time. And my honest response was, that's the beauty of being human. That's the general human condition. I think we all are melancholic, like you said, but it's difficult to come out and say you're feeling melancholic because, hey, this is the Instagram generation, Snapchat generation. Who would like to see a sad face? Who would want to hear you write the captions, I'm sad, please come over, I need someone to talk to, right?
Yeah, that would be pandering to your emotions and trying to bring in sympathy, which is not really a healthy thing.
And a lot of people are guilty of doing that on Facebook. They're just like putting out negative messages, and probably they need help, but it's a different ballgame, the social media, and nobody wants to listen to that.
I think sometimes when people do that, I appreciate them for being honest, because there was a quote that I wrote in my Facebook bio a long time ago. Now it's under 140 characters or something, so I cannot use that quote, but the quote goes like this, quote, the difference between a happy person and a sad person is that a happy person has a sad face to hide. Unquote. Right? So this dichotomy of being always positive on Facebook versus your real feelings, that is something that we need to find a balance. And I appreciate sometimes when someone just writes they're sad and they're not happy.
But what I'm trying to imply is, you're absolutely right, but people have this tendency that what I see is some people are on the other one side of the spectrum where they're showing that their life is always happening, right. And there's just other people on the other side of the spectrum who are always putting up depressing quotes. So what's happening is both are getting unfollowed because first one breeds jealousy and the second one breeds, I don't know, some
annoyance.
Sort of annoyance, right?
Because you necessarily or generally don't want to see negative
that
things
negative vibe, right? But coming back to your quote, I think that's just the normal condition of being human. I guess all of us are melancholic, and this podcast in so many ways is for that one listener who might be happy or sad.
And I just want to say it's okay to cry. That's what Maury said. And it's
you had to bring Maury up, didn't you?
Yeah, I have to.
Someday we'll have to do a quote on Maury as well.
I just want to say, my last thoughts on this particular quote is, it's okay to be sad, and sometimes you have to tend yourself and be away from everything and just understand that sadness is an emotion and sadness is something inside of you, and that might help you understand yourself even better. And when the good days come in, you will be humble enough to realize that you've had your bad days or you've had your sadder days, and which will make your happy days even more joyful.
Unquote. Alright, so we're unquoting the first ever quote-unquote episode of 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. We'll be back again next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And one last thing.
It's never too late to start.